Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? This right here is the 2023 Volkswagen GTI. This is the S trim right here, and we're gonna see if it's worth it over the Hyundai Elantra N. All right guys, so just to give you guys context, this is a $31,000 priced GTI, whereas an Elantra N, or at least the one that I'm gonna be reviewing right after this, is a $35,000 priced Hyundai Elantra N. So just keep that in mind as you go through it. The price difference is $4,000 pretty much. So there are gonna be differences in options and stuff because of that. So let's get straight into it. And starting with the design, yes, we do have the new generation of GTI or Volkswagen Golf in front of us, and because of that, there's a lot of new design stylings. And starting with the front, you get the obviously iconic Volkswagen logo up front with the nice GTI, red trim and the GTI badging right there. I like that they went to like the OG font, to be honest. I think that's a nice touch. Because aside from that, it's a really simple front end. Going on to the headlights here, they are LED projector beam headlights, and you do get an LED daytime running light right there. But just below that is right now like the really iconic LED fog light lights that are in the grill and integrated into the honeycomb grill, which is really clever. I think it's very creative. I like how it looks after seeing it in person. I thought it was kind of cheesy in the pictures, but after seeing it in person, I kind of like it. Not gonna lie. Let's take a step back here. And the paint color of this is the Atlantic Blue Metallic. Very mature colorway, and overall this car is a very mature styled vehicle. So that's just my opinion of it. You do get nice little lines that go up from the hood to the windshield. Look really tasteful. Going on the side, you do have a reflector, which you have to have due to U.S. regulations, and these wheels, which I think look nice. They're very tasteful. They suit the style of the vehicle, but they're not super aggressive. They're an 18-inch wheel, and they have two 25 section rear tires with a 40 series sidewall. So not super big. Again, I think a lot of people are going to want to modify this. Will get their own wheel and tire package because there are a lot of good options in the aftermarket. So yeah, those are the wheels. You do get a nice GTI, little placard on the side, very tasteful. The rest is just color matched with black surrounds on the B pillar right there. No keyless on this side. And then if we take a step back and look at the rear three quarters, it's a hatch. And I honestly think the Golf GTI hatch is very iconic, and I don't think it's gonna ever look old from this perspective. Going up top, you do get a nice little decklet spoiler with a nice little flick to it at the top, help that separation. And then you get a rear wiper right here, your heating elements, and that's great, as well as rear LED taillights, which look more modern. I mean, they haven't done too much Jurassic stuff to the rear. And then down here you have the GTI lettering, again, nice retro font, and then you have your rear view camera, which lives right. I guess we can't see it because it's not actually activated, but it lives under there, and this is a handle to get access to the hatch. But before we look at that real quick, you get the dual tipped exhaust, which is chrome, and it sounds pretty cool when you get on it. We'll talk about that when we get to driving it. So starting with the rear storage, as far as interior goes, you get a nice little privacy cover here. That's fine. You can remove if you want more vertical space. But then you get a nice floor right here that does have a space. Why can't I open this? Hold up. I swear I was able to do it like 2 seconds ago. What the frick? Am I tripping? Okay. Underneath the floor is a spare tire. It's a space saver. Nothing crazy there. But what's cool is you can take this out here, slide it, lower it down there, drop it, and you get a lower load floor, which is nice. And that just maximizes your interior cargo volume. Or if you really want, you can keep that floor, lift it up, slide it there, line it up. Let me try to do that with one hand. And you get a nice little divider between bottom storage space here, which isn't perfect because there's a spare nice little cavity in there. But you can use it for however you like. You get little hooks here if you want to hook stuff to them. And yeah, that's the rear hatch. You get a good amount of space, and the seats fold down like you'd expect. And we'll show that more when we get to the second row seats. Your little handles here, you can pull this down. Very nice. Closes, and it feels good when it closes. So let's open up the hood here and talk performance, especially with how it compares with the competition. Oh, okay, yeah, this is heavy. Let me put up the prop rod real quick. Under the hood is a turbocharged 4-cylinder, 2 liters, and it makes 241 horsepower and 274 pound-feet of torque. Now, to put that into perspective with the Elantra N, that makes 276 horsepower and 289 pound-feet of torque. More power and more torque from that engine than this. But then again, you're paying $4,000 more for that. Then this specific vehicle, you can option this up in the Autobahn package, and it will cost more than the Elantra. So for a, let's say, dollar per horsepower metric, it's not the most value proposition. And as far as the engine bay goes, you do not get an engine cover, which I'm not really mad at. I kind of like that it's all exposed. You're gonna take it off anyways whenever you want to do stuff to it. But I feel like a lot of people here will do a lot of stuff to the car themselves. As far as maintenance goes, not even just modifications, just maintenance alone. I feel like a lot of people are gonna do stuff to their own car for a GTI. Just my opinion. And this has made it to a 6-speed manual, and you can get this with a dual clutch transmission. Same thing with the Elantra. You can get that with a 6-speed manual and a dual clutch. And I've driven the 6-speed manual in the Elantra, and I'm going to be driving the dual clutch soon. So if you guys want to see that, subscribe to the channel. That video will be up shortly after this one, hopefully. All right, let's get inside here. So first things first, let's start with the seat. So because this is the S trim, you can get these with the plaid cloth seats that have GTI lettering up top. I like these seats a lot. There's also nice microfiber suede on the bolsters. And like if you get an Autobahn trim, you gotta get the leather. It's like, I know you want the leather, but like I wouldn't want the leather. I would take these fabric seats over the leather seats, in my opinion. They look good, and also they feel really nice driving the day to day. And one thing I want to show in the back seat, you can see it clear here, is a nice little, it's leather, right? It's not real, but like, it's a nice trim, and they did a lot of stuff to the seat. So I like it, and I think it's what I would choose and how I would spec out my GTI personally. Manually control on the raise and lower, but power on the tilt. And then you get this right here, which I'll be honest, what does that do? Does anyone know what this does? If you know what this does, let me know in the comment section. 'Cause I don't know what that does. Huh. Okay, cool. And then you can slide it forward as well. You get 3 aluminum pedals, obviously because it's a manual, and then an aluminum dead pedal, which is a nice touch. All companies, go the extra mile, and it's nice that they did on the GTI. And then going on to the door here real quick, to lock or unlock it, you just press the like button. No, I'm just kidding. Hit the unlock button and lock button right there. And then you get this honeycomb pattern here. Everything here is just regular, plastics, but you do get nice suede over here. And then a padded armrest, door handle here that passes through, and a big cubby. I like that this is a large cubby, and it's lined, which is a nice touch. But you also get nice storage even in there. I think that's cool too. So let's hop inside here and get into it, because there's a lot of opinions on this interior, and I guess I have my own as well. Getting inside, car's not even on yet. Let's talk about the steering wheel real quick. You get a leather wrap steering wheel with nice portions that are perforated leather, and that's great. This is a heated steering wheel. You got a nice GTI here. It looks modern. It is a newer steering wheel setup, and that's great. But it's nice size, nice diameter on the rim, and then there's just black stitching, no contrast stitching on the perimeter in there. You do get a panel here. Let's actually turn it on, because a lot of this stuff is haptic. To see what it is, you got to really turn it on. So let's do that real quick. All right, now that it's on, let's get into it. We have our headlight controls, auto. I mean, this is all haptic, no buttons, unfortunately. But that's your headlight controls are all over here. Your turn signal stock, your windshield wiper stock, and all that good stuff. That's pretty standard stuff. And then here you get the haptic setup of steering wheel buttons. And to be upfront, guys, you'll learn it. But even if you don't want to learn it, you don't have to, because these all work as buttons still. So there are a lot of buttons here, guys, but you can get to every function just by pressing. You don't have to actually swipe in and out. You can just press or get out, or press in and press out. So there's a lot of ways to use this steering wheel that don't require you to swipe. Same thing with track. You can press one side or the other versus swiping left or right. It really is a preference thing. So I don't think the steering wheel is that big of a deal on this one. If anything, it looks cool, but yeah, it's a preference. I mean, if you're gonna own a car, you will learn it / learn to live with it, and I think you might enjoy it in the process. So just my 2 cents on this aspect of it. Let's get into the gauge cluster. I think it's kind of funny. You do have your different views. So if I tap view here on this gauge cluster display, you get different views. You have the really traditional, tachometer and speedometer. You press it again, you get a more, digital tachometer and speedometer, and then you get a different version of that, and then the one that I like, which is tachometer in the middle and then 2 pods that you can customize. That's what I was getting into earlier. You can have a gear display, which is what I have on the right. So if I'm in gear, it'll show me what gear I'm in. So if I can just clutch in, if I start rolling, it'll put me in first. Same thing with the reverse and so on. That's what I'm doing over here. It's not showing up because I'm not actually moving yet. And then on the left, I have a boost gauge, which is nice. The funny thing is you can make them both boost gauges. If I go down to the bottom, let me see. If I go to the bottom, I have boost. I can have 2 boost gauges. Double the boost, I guess, right? I don't know. It's nice when they let you do that. I think it's funny. But I don't know why no one's really talked about that. But yeah, you can customize both gauges however you like. So it's cool. Let me set this up back before I forget to do that. I'm just pressing this, and then we go down here. You have fuel economy, all that stuff. Any type of data you want, you can do that. Going to the touchscreen. This is an 8-inch touchscreen, not the 10-inch touchscreen that a lot of people have seen in reviews, which is nice because I actually like this one a lot. It doesn't have that haptic thing here. It is a normal gauge, normal infotainment system with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. But the issue I think a lot of people are going to bring up is the climate controls are built into it. And the biggest thing is, yes, you have a button here, tap, and then you get to it, or you can tap on this right here to get to it. So I exit out and I tap here, it gets me to it. So there's 2 ways to get to climate controls, this one and that one. But it's an added step, which I think is unfortunate because I would like to just get to it instantly. But that's just the world we live in right now with the Volkswagen GTI. So learning it is more difficult. I think once you get used to it, you will understand it better. I just don't have the car long enough to get to experience or, share that experience, I guess. So if it was up to me, I would have gauge clusters here. You can really just have 3 knobs: speed, fan speed, temperature, and where you're pointing the air. Like, it's really not that hard. But this is where they decided to go with it, and we have to live with that. So volume knob here, if you don't want to slide left and right, but you might have to if you have OCD, because the volume knob turns with the power. So you gotta make sure you put that centered, and then you can adjust the volume knob there. You have this will control, how you go through the menu if you don't want to actually use a touchscreen, which is fine. And you can, get used to navigating like that. But yeah, so you have your climate control here, you have your assist menu, so quick shortcuts here, park menu, and then your drive mode. Let's tap on that real quick. You press through the switch through it, you can tap through it here. Then you have custom. You can customize a lot in this drive mode. Driving dynamics, steering. Let's actually use the wheel because it's easier to control here. Steering, drive system, engine sound. What's that? All these settings right here. I'll go back. Whoops. I'm telling you, man, I'm not used to using this thing. But yeah, all this stuff here, you get to customize in custom mode. And that's what I've been driving because I liked how I customize it. So continue on the dash, you get this nice honeycomb here. The rest is pretty straightforward, standard stuff. You do get a set of 2 USB ports down here, and then a nice cubby with a wireless charger down there. That's nice. Nice that it's angled forward so it doesn't like slide in and out, which is good. And then it's textured rubber. Then you get piano black up here with your engine stop button, your 6-speed manual transmission that has a Golf pattern on the underside. It's not entirely a Golf ball like the OGs were, or the previous generations were, but it's a nice shifter. I'll talk about more when we get to the drive. But electronic parking brake. This little cubby here is really clever. You get somewhat of a cup holder here and then a pop-out cup holder there. I think that's great because I would probably use this as a big cubby, and if I need an extra drink, I can move that stuff around and pop that out. And it's clever packaging. You get a 12-volt here, and then your center console that can be an armrest. Okay, yeah, so that is the that's the center console for you guys. Let's actually keep this thing on, keep the parking brake up, and let's hop into the back. One thing I'll show you guys at night is the fact that there's a nice little puddle light that looks like a golf ball. So I'll overlay a clip of what that looks like at night or in a parking lot. So I think it's a nice touch. Hopping into the back seats, you do get similar treatment to the handle, the materials here, the suede, switch gear, and then a big pocket. And then you get the nice plaid seating in the rear as well. And your 60/40 split fold seats, easy to operate there. But as far as the seats go, let's stand behind myself real quick. Plenty of room here, tons of room. It's nice and, a little bit of shape to accommodate taller folks, but I'm sitting by myself perfectly fine. I'm 5'8", I'm not that tall, but taller people can fit here in a pinch, but it isn't optimized for big people, but tons of headroom because it's a hatch. And then you get nice pockets. I think this is super clever. You can fit a phone in here, your buddy's phone, hook up a USB port into the USB-C ports down there. A little shelf here. I'm not sure what the purpose of it is. Put some maybe chapstick. I don't know, honestly. But I like these added cubbies, as well as obviously your big mat pocket. You get vents here. I have my backpack in here, but if I pull it out of the way, there's a nice little pull tab to bring down cup holders and a nice little armrest, which is really nicely padded. It feels very premium, as they would say. And then you can lift this up here if you really want, and then you can nice pass through for skis if you'd like. Then you can lift it all back up and pack it all nicely. So you have little lights here that are touch sensitive, and that's cool. I like that. Your grab handles, but sitting back here is not bad at all. I feel like you don't sit super high off the ground, but I like that. You feel like you're in a car, not on a car. But yeah, overall here experience is really nice, if I do say so myself. But since we've gone through it all, let's actually take this thing on a drive and talk about how it feels. I really wonder what that's for. Oh, okay. All right. I learned that that is your bolster. Wow. I've never seen that before. That's really clever. Huh. Okay, we'll have it down. I don't like the bolster. I don't feel like I want to have a... Or lumbar. Lumbar. Sorry, it's your lumbar support. Let's turn this bad boy on. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's get into it. So, this is a lot of people's first time driving a manual. I feel like if you're getting a Volkswagen GTI, and it's a very easy to learn manual transmission vehicle, and that's a good thing. It's not a Civic Type R manual transmission, so we're not going to compare it there to that. What I'll compare it to more is my experience from the Elantra N, which I drove. Maybe I'll find like a rev matching feature on this, because I know the Elantra N has that. This doesn't. And I like using that sometimes. I'll be honest, I'm not like ashamed to admit it, but I'll rev match myself for this because I have to. But I'll do it if I need to or if I want to. Sometimes it's nice to have the car and transmission just do it for you. So let's talk about the shifter. The only thing that I feel like I don't like about the shifter is going from third into second. I always feel like it's, I don't know if it's too easy or just, I feel like sometimes if I get into it, I'm like, am I in fourth? Just because I don't feel like I'm getting positive engagement through the gates. If that makes sense. I mean, this is a cable. It's like a linkage shifter. So that's just the one comment I have on it. Not a big deal. Something you'll get used to and something you'll learn. Just my like first impression once I got into this car. But since we are in, just want to make sure we're in custom mode here. Yes, we are in custom mode, which is the mode I have selected. You get some nice pops, some nice sounds that we'll see in a little bit. But overall, guys, this package, being in a hot hatch, in the hot hatch, like iconic, you know, you get a sense this is a lot more mature than the Elantra. You don't get the loud pop, 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 which, to be honest, is very fun. Not gonna lie. Very fun to experience the pops on demand. But you can get pops on demand here. They're just not like a lot of pops. They're like baby pops. I'll show you guys what I mean. Boom, boom. Let me show you. Oh, let's get in second gear. Okay, it's not really being picked up on the microphones, I'm sure. But if you get on throttle and let off, you do get some pops. So, like I said, baby pops, not the ra-ta-ta-ta that you get out of the Elantra N. It's not as rowdy. This does have a lot of power, and it feels good to get on. Torque comes on very nicely. You get that nice limited slip differential, which powering out a corner, you can tell is doing a lot of work to make sure the power is being put to the ground well. This is a car you can still have a lot of fun with, as long as you're not messing with the climate controls as you're trying to have a lot of fun with it, if you know what I mean.